Hello friends, today's topic is how long have you been on welfare? Let's rant.
Not gonna hate me for saying this, but sometimes it's illogical for people on government assistance to get a job. Just because somebody is able-bodied does not mean that they're able to work. Because you have to look at it from a stance of survival. If I'm getting Section 8, if I'm getting food stamps, if I'm getting all my needs met on government assistance, what do I stand to lose if I go get a job and they start cutting my aid? Now I'm homeless. Now I can't afford to pay my bills. Now my kids don't have food because once you start working, they will start cutting your benefits. And the issue with the system is they don't teach people how to survive without the benefits. The system is designed to keep people on these benefits and depending on the government. What we need is a revamp of the system where we focus on job readiness, where we focus on teaching people budgeting, we focus on teaching people how to spend their money, how to live, how to thrive. Right now, all we're doing is creating a generational poverty cycle. And I know a lot of y'all are going to get mad and going to get triggered and not listen to what I'm saying. But if you were in a position where you're a single mother with children, right now, you don't have to worry about where your kids are going to live. You don't have to worry about where your kids are going to eat. Would you risk that for the sake of saying you're employed?
I don't disagree with her to a certain extent. So she's right and she's wrong. The thing that she doesn't understand, okay, let me start off with the things that she's right about. The thing that she's right about is the fact that the system is incentivized for people to stay on government assistance. And so what they do is they reward in bad behavior. But this comes from the part that she don't realize is that this comes from a long line of neglect from the Democratic Party, which is one of the reasons why we had to get off the Democratic plantation. And then I'm gonna continue to break down some of the points that she said. But the main thing that I think that she's really hitting at that needs to be addressed is the fact that they've incentivized them and tied them to the federal government. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of men that have been having this conversation for a long time. Single mothers felt comfortable leaving their households or having children out of wedlock or walking away from the man that they decided to marry because they knew that they had that safety net up under them, which also removed them from holding themselves accountable and responsible for actually doing the right thing. And or as they got more freedom, the freedom to vote, the freedom to be able to work, the freedom to be able to do what they want to do with their bodies, all of that, they never took accountability for what they were. So what the Democrat system has basically did was made y'all reliant on them, which incentivized y'all to continue to vote for them. So they use people's tax dollars in order to tie you to the federal government for the rest of your life because you knew basically they became your daddy, they became your savior, and you knew that if you didn't vote for them, that the possibility of somebody like Trump getting in and holding you accountable for your decisions would then limit your options. You would have to go to work. You would have to go to work. And that's the thing, is that never, no other community could you look at this and see how exacerbated this problem is, how exaggerated the problem is, how large this problem is, and how it's absolutely destroying a community. Because if you actually go back and you research our historical records and you look at the wealth gap between black people and white people, it was much smaller when black people weren't dependent on the government because they built wealth through family. The biggest way for you to pull yourself out of poverty is to depend on each other, right? And so if you then had a strong family, because being in a relationship was more of a business than it was just love. Not saying that love didn't need to be there, but being in a relationship meant that you were exchanging strengths for weaknesses. If you wanted to have strong children, which then at some point pulled themselves out of their circumstances and eventually got educated, then you had a traditional family structure that worked. The woman usually was the nurturer of the kids. The man was usually the one that brought in the resources. The kids were the ones that benefited. So having a strong two-parent household that was married was beneficial. The minute that they then removed the man out of the household and then they substituted it by a whole nother industry, we call it family court now, and men advocated for updates to the family court laws as a result of voting for Kamala Harris, but they completely ignored that and said that we'll give you legalized weed on the federal level. When you actually start to pay attention to the fact that they destroy families by incentivizing women to look at men as baby daddies instead of looking at them as husbands, then that's when they then tied themselves to the Democrat Party, despite the fact that the Democrat Party has never really done anything for you to help you pull yourself out of it. So the Democrat Party now feeds you enough, or until Trump got in, obviously, because we've seen the changes. The Democrat Party.
Bitch, tell me why I go to the motherfucking welfare office, bitch, because I need some motherfucking food stamps, some motherfucking EBT, something. I need some motherfucking help around this bitch. So, bitch, I go down there. This Hispanic lady gonna tell me you can't get no benefits. And I'm like, and why in the fuck not? She gonna say because you ain't got no motherfucking kids. That's that shit I'm talking about. Why we gotta have kids just to get help around this bitch? This shit's so bogus. Like, this world don't want to help single people at all. So now I gotta find a different place, because she told me that I gotta go to the single people welfare building and shit. Because I guess I was at the child one or something. I don't know, bitch. But this is ridiculous. Like, bitches with kids get everything, bro. They get Section 8. They get a fucking house. They get $1,000 in fucking food stamps and shit, bitch. Like, this. And they get cash benefits and shit, bitch. They get cash on their motherfucking EBT, bitch. You fucking slut bitches disgust me. Like, why we gotta have kids just to get some fucking help and support in this world? I demand a change.
It's hard for moms to get off welfare because Uncle Sam, which I always refer to as the system, pays for her to stay there. That means he's going to give her that Medicaid, that TANF, that child care, that SNAP, that housing, that WIC, Section 8, all of it. And as long as she doesn't work, she keeps getting it. So before you guys out there with your comments saying, you know, you just want to stay on welfare and you're lazy, and no, folks. This is basic mathematics. This is your 1 and 1 is equaling 2. And for her, as soon as she works, she get 10 days before she's cut off. So while she might not be a Wall Street broker, she knows 1 and 1 should equal 2. And for her, it doesn't. So she's going to stay her ass there. Why? Because it's economics. It's business. You take care of me, I'ma just hustle on the side, because trust me, most of them is doing something, because you can't live off of nothing. But that is what the welfare tourists say. You know what? The rules that are on this side of the track keep us poor, but the rules on the other, it actually aids them in their prosperity. And that shit ain't right. That ain't justice. That ain't righteous. And that's what we coming for.
One day you do have to get off, right? What do you think?
I just want to take this time to thank everybody. I want to thank you for working. I want to thank you for keeping your job so I don't have to. I have needed welfare for almost 10 years. I get a little over $4,000 in food stamps every month. I get $2,000 in cash assistance. I'm on Section 8. And me and my 6 kids are all on disability. And if it wasn't for you guys working and getting taxes taken out, I wouldn't be able to do it. There would be no welfare. There would be no government benefits. I am able to stay on government assistance for so long because of y'all. Because of y'all. Because of y'all, I don't have to work. I'll never have to work. I will never have to go get a job. Do you know how free that is? To just be able to wake up, not have any responsibilities, not have to worry about putting food on the table. Do you know how good that feels? It feels wonderful, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do.
I have never taken money from the state. I've never, got welfare. The worst thing I've ever had was food stamps, but I never got the cash. I always have worked the best I could to support myself and my kids. But I just found out, I spoke to the judge and I had my appeal. And what he told me was that when I add in, they brought in it was on a phone, and they brought in the woman to explain. I mean, she does, like, if you can work and what levels, and they say all these numbers, so you don't really understand, because I didn't have a lawyer. I was representing myself. And the judge said, I said, so what are you saying at the end? Because he asked if I understood. I said, can I work or not? And he said, no. When I added on your mental health, she said there was absolutely no work. So why was...
I know good and darn on well y'all don't want me to come work. I know good and darn on well y'all don't want me to come and work. Do y'all see the way y'all talk to me on TikTok? So if I come out there and work with y'all, how y'all gonna treat me? Y'all treat me like shit. I'm not gonna come out there and work with y'all. Y'all don't know how to treat people. You're disrespectful. I don't know if you even like people of my color. I'm not coming out there working with y'all, mingling with y'all. Y'all are some rude ass people. No, I'm not gonna be able to do it. It's better to be pissed off than pissed on. Y'all don't know how to treat people. The way y'all talk to me in those comments, if any of y'all out there working at any building that I get a job at, I don't want the fucking job. Keep the motherfucker. Keep it. Y'all don't know how to treat people. It's the way you treat people. You don't know how to talk to people. If I come out there, that's how y'all gonna treat me? Oh, I'm not coming. Nope, gotta make another way.
It's crazy the sense of entitlement that people have, and that they actually believe that they deserve food stamps and they deserve Section 8. So what this woman is essentially saying is that she's refusing. Now, I want y'all to be very, very aware and clear, because I see a lot of videos of people that spew this rhetoric and this narrative that's given to them from the Democratic Party, and they say stuff like, oh my God, I can't believe you're kicking people off and all of this other type of stuff, right? We know that that's all a lie. We know that the Trump administration is not kicking anybody off that actually needs and is being assisted because they have disabilities, or they are elderly, or they are a vet and all of that type of stuff. But there are, I believe that probably 90% or more, maybe more, are able-bodied people like this, because we've experienced them in Black culture and white culture and every single culture that you can think of. We've experienced these people in our real life, and they refuse to get a job. They're not interested in working even a little bit. And the reason that they're not interested in working is because we basically allowed for them to be on the system for so long that they feel entitled to it. So they don't look at it as your taxpayer dollars. They look at it as their dollars. Like, is that once you let somebody get so comfortable, it's almost like if you let somebody sleep on your couch. You know what I'm saying? If they say, hey man, I just need a place to crash. Oh dog, I'm so appreciative of the bridge that you gave me in order to be able to survive, so I ain't out on the street. But then if they still there 2 or 3 years later, it then becomes a crutch. And so you basically enabling bad behavior. And that's what I say all the time.
Crazy work, right? What do you think about this topic? Comment down below, and thank you for watching. Until next time.